work, but
Looking
I said a little
all
bit too late.
sexy-licious over there.
Well, so my story is, I don't know. I was not feeling well earlier, so I was like, "Oh, let me make myself look really cute. Maybe I'll feel better for the show because we can't miss the Poly Pimps. Like,
You
I
gotta
will
stay pimping.
crawl, yeah, I will crawl out of wherever I am, whatever's going on. I will make sure that I feel better by the time we got to go live because we can't miss it. It's
Right,
We gotta keep the pimping pimping.
right. That part.
Yeah. So
So
let me do it one more try and see if okay, there we go. Go live. Yes. All right. And it's working. Yay.
I'm ready.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back for another episode of the Poly Pimps with me too and Sky every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. And we
Every
are
other,
here. Well,
every
every
other,
other Tuesday. Oh my God.
every
So
other.
I think I'm thinking I want to get back to every Tuesday, but no, don't let me do that.
Whew.
Because right now, we need a life. So yes, we like always send us the topics that you would like for us to talk about, the questions that you have. We will try to answer them as uh, clearly as possible. Thank you for being a faithful audience. Thank you guys. So we are in season 2 because of you. So just keep supporting us. So it just dawned on me, Sky, aren't we supposed to have a Poly Pimp bash, juicy bash?
Yeah, that's the next thing we're working on
Okay.
this month. In fact, in about 2 weeks.
And yes, in about 2 weeks. A little more than 2 weeks. I think it's on the 19th, right?
Is that a Friday?
Yes,
Let me
it's
look.
supposed to be a Friday.
Okay, because I got to put in notice.
Yes. And it's just dawned on me. So we got to make the flyer so everybody can have it in their face, right?
Okay.
Because I know some people said they want to come. So we need to make
Well, the
sure that
last one
everybody,
was a ball. It was a
yes,
ball. I mean, I guess we didn't really know what to expect, but the
yes.
fact that people came out and we just had this whole roundtable discussion about things that people want to know, and then so many people like got into it and stuff. I think it could have gone on longer if we were just
It was so intimate. So I think we really should try and keep the number like very small. Just send out the invitation, create the event, and then the first few people who reply will be the ones attending because we
mhm,
definitely want to keep it intimate
like a
again.
nice group. Yeah, I
Yes.
agree. I
So
agree.
remember, guys, save the date,
April
April
19th.
19th at what, 9 p.m. Location to come. The people who get the invitation will get the address, or let's say the people who RSVP will get the address. So, all right. So tonight we are
Um,
talking about, is he or is she non monogamous or just a cheater? What say you?
what do I say?
Mm-hmm.
I say, I mean, of course, every situation and circumstance depends on everything, but
Before you
um,
go further, can we define first what cheating means? Because it can mean different things for different people. So, can we
absolutely.
first define what cheating is?
My definition is breaking of agreements. So if
Oh,
you are involved with someone or someone's,
mm-hmm.
then when agreements are broken, that's usually tends to fall in line with cheating. In other words, not all of the agreements, because some agreements could be about paying bills or what have you.
Right.
Um, I'm talking about romantic agreements,
Right.
how we're going to navigate this. How does this work? Is
Mhm.
talking to somebody else a break in the agreement? Is sleeping with somebody else, whatever agreements the couples or thruples or whatever they are,
How many
whatever
poems?
they make. And I think we're really talking, when we talk about cheaters, we're really talking about monogamous, because the alternative is non-monogamy.
Well, I'm
So
not gonna totally agree with that just because many people in non-monogamy have been cheated on as well while they're practicing non-monogamy.
agreed.
So, but
Agreed. But
we're
the
gonna talk first
question,
about the monogamy part.
right, but I think the question as it's put out into the atmosphere is directed towards, if you're a cheater or are you a cheater, if you know cheaters, people who have cheated. It's
Yes,
talking to people who are monogamous or who claim to be
right,
monogamous, and thus I think a lot of times they are actually non-monogamous but don't know how to navigate doing it ethically or
correct.
consensually. That's what my thought is. I think there are some people who are just streamlined to be what we call dogs, but I don't think that's the majority of what happens in cheating. I think there's a lot of different things that happen in cheating, but I think a big part of it is the fact that there is no room for open communication, honest and open communication in these relationships. Because as soon as you tell your partner, I'm interested in someone, it's like the end of the relationship.
Right.
And that's basically some of what happens.
So basically, if I'm understanding correctly, you're saying the major thing responsible for cheating is non-communication, lack of communication, or is it um the lack of autonomy or
I
having
think
the space to be yourself?
Well, here's the thing. When we speak on monogamous relationships, we're really not speaking about autonomy. That doesn't come up. So if you're autonomous, you're single.
True.
To be
Yeah.
in a monogamous relationship and say I'm autonomous, I got my own life, and then you want to have these marriages and relation other, connections, doesn't it doesn't really it doesn't really come off as autonomy is not a thing I've ever heard of until I started, educating myself in the polyamorous world. You're not in a relationship and autonomous ever in a
True.
monogamous situation. So I don't think autonomy is a thing. I think authenticity is really what I find to be hard for people to navigate, because as much as I love you and as much as I want to be with you and grow with you and have fun and have hard times and good times and all that stuff, I still have other things I want to do. I still have other
Right.
people I want to explore. I still am interested in talking and being open and what have you with other people. It doesn't translate well in monogamy, because that's basically like, well, you're not supposed to,
Right.
you know so
You cannot.
therefore I think that's what happens when people break these agreements, because they can't have a male can't have a female friend. They can't have an emotional connection. I mean, you don't even have to have sex with somebody else to be cheating, because once you've developed an emotional connection with someone, you're cheating in
Right.
most people's eyes. And you didn't even have to get naked.
Right.
But just the fact that you have love for somebody and you're like always you're vested in the betterment of their life, that's a deal breaker.
Exactly.
Relationships end on that. And it's unfortunate because it's unfortunate to me, because I just don't get why we can't have it all.
Right. So you want your cake and eat it too. Is that what you're saying?
I want my cake, my cookies, my ice cream, my brownies.
all
you
piled
know.
on top of each other
I
and
mean,
keep.
I don't need them all at the same time. Just, sometimes I want one or the other, but I mean, I think seriously speaking, when we talk about when we talk about the family, right? And when we talk about, like, I almost find it to be like an episode of like of satire when folks want to get married, they want to have this beautiful, love till you die, like Love is Blind, like that whole TV show. It's like
Right.
navigating what they really want. It's funny to me because people think they want what they see. People want the white wedding and they want the security. They want to have someone that is theirs. They want to have children. There's a lot of things they want to have. And the picture that we're given that gives us that thing, to me, doesn't always match the reality of what we can actually provide. But, like giving of ourselves 100% to someone is difficult.
Yeah, I totally get it because again, we're staying in monogamy. They tell you you become one once you are with somebody, once you get married, yada yada. And so many people now, I think in a marriage where there is fairness and understanding and all that stuff, it could work. But I feel like a lot of people in relationships, they take advantage of, oh, now I've locked her down, I've locked him down, where is he gonna go, where is she gonna go, so I can be as bad as I want to be, or as abusive, or as authoritative, or just pretty much I'm the boss of this relationship kind of thing. Because you're always going to find one person that has that mentality in the relationship. And either the other person conforms to it or gets out. Most of the time, people stay and endure it for as long as they can. And some people do forever because they don't want to be looked at as a failed marriage, or especially for women, it's more accepted for men when they get a divorce than women. They look at the woman as broken and all that. um so so many marriages, relationships, you find the man goes out and does whatever he wants. He cheats, he talks to whomever he wants, but the woman, if somebody says hello too nicely, it's a big deal. It's a problem. They can't even have friends. I've seen people to where the neighbor can't even say hi without the husband feeling like, oh, you are with this person already. That's why he was too nice saying hello to you and stuff like that. Hey, Harry.
Hey,
Um,
Harry.
Thank you for coming on. So, yeah, so I feel like you never really can be yourself, and you can never really have autonomy in monogamous relationships. So then now we're gonna go into the cheating part. What causes people to cheat in those kind of relationships? Is it a
I,
lack of? I know you said some people are just prone to do that. They just love doing it because some people are like, oh, it's the excitement. So they're looking for excitement. It's not even necessarily that they're not getting what they feel like they should be getting from their relationships. It's just they're looking for something else, something new, something fresh, something spicy. So they go ahead and do their thing. Because I think for some people, if their spouse were to say, all right, it's okay, you can go ahead and sleep with somebody or be with somebody, they'd be like, ugh, it's not exciting anymore because there's no hiding factor. I don't have to sneak around and do it. So there's no more excitement for them. So those are the people that I feel like you call the dogs, right?
yeah. There are, I mean, there are people who I mean, there's some guys out there that they just think like, this is the way I am and this is how I roll and da da da. And she's good. She's home. She'll be all right. And I'm gonna do what I do. As long as she don't know, she's fine. She's good. I mean, there's just gonna be
But
that
you know they
demographic.
will kill you.
They're out there, right? There are also people who cheat because they have nothing. They're in a bind.
Yes.
They're like, I'm not getting my needs met. She doesn't seem to understand. Okay, we keep referring it to as men. Let's do this.
Right.
He or she is
Mhm.
not getting their needs met because it's not all men. We don't, I know I don't want to sound like it's men, all men, because women are,
It's
and
not a
when a
man.
woman cheats, best believe she does it well.
She definitely will do it well.
But I think that, I think there's a lot of people that cheat because they don't have another option, you know? And like there's some people who like the option is break up with this relationship or do this little quick thing, or I mean some people do cheating where they're just doing a sexual cheating thing because
Mhm.
their needs are not being met, they need more.
Mhm.
There's some people who do the emotional cheating where they have like another friend, another partner, what have you, that they have this great
The work
connection with.
wife.
To me, yeah. And to me, that's like really unfortunate that they can't tell their partner that they have this person in their life because the partner will feel violated, you know? So they don't talk on it, you know? That has always been for me the number one factor of for why poly or non-monogamy made more sense to me, because I don't, when I think of like my life, I don't think I value being like, oh, this one guy had my heart my whole life and then I died. I think I rather have the story of I had all these amazing experiences,
Yes.
period. End
Yeah,
of
it's kind of like
discussion.
living life, right?
Yeah,
You know how some people take pleasure in traveling, jumping off a plane. Not you won't find me jumping off a plane because I think
right.
I would probably have a heart attack on the way down.
That,
But,
right.
it's like different things. It's kind of like, do you really want to die with all your dreams or all those desires or all the pleasure that you could be experiencing? Do you really want to die and not know what certain things feel like? I mean, we all have our limits, right? But
I mean, people are still doing their thing, right? I mean, there's this whole culture of side chickery and side dickery and all this kind of stuff. And it's a culture, like it's cool. It's a movement. I mean, there are women out here who are like, I'm the side chick, you
yeah, I
know?
mean, some people support that. Okay, so let's say, for example, I feel like a few years ago, they came down real hard on this specific website, Ashley Madison.
Hmm.
I've never been on it, but I heard people talking
Oh,
about
they
it.
they had hacked into it and they found out whose email addresses were in there, and some of
Okay.
them were pretty much like people out here that we know.
Okay, yeah. So basically, that website was for people who wanted to cheat. From what I understood, that was the whole purpose of the website. So it's like this person is married, that person is married, but they can't get what they want from their marriage. So they go on this website and sneak around. And so because they're all in the same category, nobody really talks, right? So that's why. So I'm like, that website would not need to exist if they could talk to their partner and be truthful about what they want, what they desire.
Need. Hmm.
Yeah, and people would not need to go all crazy. I mean, I tell people whatever you put out there and think you're gonna like, I don't know, whatever you find, if it was sent to somebody, even if it was sent in private and you find it and you decide you're gonna publish it, it is what it is. I don't care because I am
Hey,
not.
Marquez.
Hey, Marcus.
It was
Um,
hacked and they released the database of all their emails and made a user-friendly way to see if your partners were on it.
uh-huh.
Boom.
Okay.
The thing about
Um,
that is they could go on Ashley Madison. Tinder is the same thing. They're all the same. There are so many people on there who like they'll post if this has to be a discreet.
yes.
I
How
have
about
to
the
be
people who
discreet.
come on? Their profile doesn't have a picture. I'm like, how you gonna come on a dating site
Right.
and not put your picture on there? I'm swiping left so hard on you. Like I'm not sometimes they put a
Does.
picture of nature or a dog or something. I'm
Yeah.
like, how am
Yeah.
I supposed to know who I'm dealing with? I'm not swiping right on you. And
It's
I wonder,
crazy.
like, do those people really get swiped right on?
Well, don't didn't we have someone who didn't put their picture up?
Where?
Here, she was like, remember one of the Poly ladies who came on here and she was talking about she had no picture on her dating app. You know the woman who had like six people living in the same house together, and
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can't remember her name. She didn't
Yeah,
have a picture either, and I was just like, I think the picture is the get in the
I
door. Like, how do
remember
you not
now.
have a picture?
I remember now.
But
I'm not, first of all, I'm not gonna swipe on anybody that does not have a picture. I'm sorry.
but
I'm
here's the
not.
thing. Cheating is not going to go away until monogamy goes away. That's what I think.
Ooh, Sky, you're
Yeah.
looking for
Because
trouble.
here's the thing, even though there is cheating in polyamory or non-monogamy or ethical non-monogamy or whatever the term, it is it's like we're not going to consider it cheating in the sense of what monogamous people consider cheating. We're going to consider the breaking of these agreements because
Right,
essentially we non-monogamous people are non-monogamous people have multiple sexual partners if they want to,
right,
and they are adept at communicating that to their partners.
right,
So that is that you just take that and just take that off the list, right?
right.
So in monogamy, cheating is having another relationship, another sexual or another emotional relationship with
Emotional. I
someone.
love it.
And in polyamory, this is what we're doing. So we just cut cheating by 99%. Now you can cheat
99%.
by 99%, but you can cheat in polyamory. I remember several people have said to me, "Oh, there's no cheating in polyamory. You're cheating anyway, so there's no cheating." And I'm like,
Yeah, it's like I let him cheat, I let her cheat. It's like
"Yeah,
there's
you're
no
letting your
cheating.
partner cheat."
Cheating is deceitful, right? The act of
The
being deceitful, right? So there's no cheating if you consent to it and agree to it.
mic drop.
Thanks, Marie.
But yeah,
Um,
so it's like, I mean, cheating won't go away. That's how I feel. Cheating won't go away until monogamy goes away. Monogamy is not going away. So, people, if they don't like cheating, they need to navigate agreements and boundaries and
yes,
stick to it.
but so here's the thing again. I hate to sound like this, but that's just the way it is, right? It's like we keep doing the same thing, but we expect different result, right? It's like serial monogamy.
Right.
I'm with this person. I assume, right? We assume from each other that we're not gonna do this, we're not gonna do that. People always make assumptions regarding boundaries. And then one day, one finds out this person did this person did that. Either they had an emotional connection with somebody, which to me is like wild that somebody thinks you should not connect with anybody else but them once you're with them. But they find out, then they break up. The heart is broken. They swear they're not ever going to fall in love again. Then they found the next person and they fall in love again. And the same cycle repeats itself over and over. And it's always like that because I know people who jump from person to person, from relationship to relationship.
Hey,
And then,
Rudy.
hey, Rudy, good to see you. Um, but yet they're like, oh, I will never do non-monogamy, but yet they allow themselves to be heartbroken over something that could be so simple, in my opinion. I know it's not simple, but I'm saying it is simple. If you are willing to work on what you need to do to not get your heart broken in that way. So, right?
So
Hey, Auntie
I have
Steve.
two questions for you.
Mhm.
Question one is, have you ever been cheated on?
Mhm.
And question two is, have you ever cheated on someone else?
So, question one, I've been cheated on. The person ended up telling me, that's the story I tell all the time when I was a teenager. I didn't know. He came and told me, and I was like, oh, okay, well, you got your thing with her, you got your thing with me. I don't care. Let's keep it moving. Like, I'm like,
You are different. You
right?
are different. Look,
So,
energy high vibration says monogamy is a European construct. I don't know if that's true,
okay.
but let's see what Google says.
Yeah. So, and honestly, I wasn't heartbroken. And I really like that person. I don't, and it's been so long, I can't remember. And, we have different meanings and definition for love at different stages in our life. I know I cared a lot about that person, but I did not feel heartbroken now. I did not like the fact that he lied because the whole time I'm thinking this person is like family. And it turned out to be a whole girlfriend. So I just informed him, like, I it I hated the fact that you lied to me, but also, I can't even say that he really lied to me because he didn't come and say, "Oh, this is my family," right? I assumed by seeing this person with him, I assumed. So I made assumptions and my assumptions were wrong. So, yes, I have been cheated on. And then one time I was cheated on. So, here's the thing, I don't even really consider it cheating, but it was in a sense. At the time, I was okay with my person having a physical connection with somebody. So I was okay with them having sex with somebody else, sleeping with somebody else. I didn't mind that, but I didn't know anything about polyamory yet. I was still very young. But the moment that I found out that they had an emotional connection, that's when my heart was broken. And so that's when I was like, I can't take this.
Mhm.
So it was more like, I guess, entitlement, because I was okay being number one, right? Because I know that he loves me and loves only me. If he's sleeping with you, you're just the other woman, right? Because that's what I learned. You're
Mhm.
important if you are the one
Hierarchy.
that he loves,
Right,
right?
hierarchy.
Hierarchy, 100%. So when I realized that there was more than sex, I was just crushed. I was crushed, and I gave him an ultimatum. And
My way or the highway.
right, and he was like, "It's not fair because we kind of had an understanding that the physical part was not an issue." And so that's when I ended the relationship. I ended it because of my pride. It was purely my pride because I was crushed for a long time. It took me a really long time to recover. And I regretted after that. I regretted that relationship, letting it go. I regretted it for the longest time. Now we're on good terms. We're good. We're grown folks. We've talked about the past, what hurt us, and it helped us get back together as far as being the bestest of friends. I would move, you know, heaven and earth for that person, and I know they would the same for me. Um,
I
so,
got a
um,
question in the audience.
oh,
Pause. Anne says, if someone decided to start a whole relationship on the side of the network, isn't it considered cheating? And then she also made a comment, but do you think you could ever trust him again? Which I think was referring to what you were talking about.
Yes. So question number one, I think it's not necessarily out of the network that is cheating. Is like, did you guys agree? Let's say, for example, a close triad. Did you guys agree that you were not gonna date or see or sleep with anybody else outside of the network? And then that person, one person or many
Does.
people
Hmm.
does, yes, that's considered cheating. If you didn't have a conversation, hey guys, I know that's what we agreed on. Because even though you make agreements, agreements are made to be changed because we are people. Our feelings change sometimes, and our desires and needs change. So you can change your agreements even if you made them. It's just you have to communicate first with your partners about what you want. So, yes, if they go outside of the network, did not inform anybody before they did that, when you had an agreement that you would not step out of the network, yes, that is considered cheating because they broke the agreement. Um, but do you ever think you could ever trust them again? Yes, absolutely. Like, I trust this person with my life. Again, like I said, it was it was more my pride, my ego that took a blow. Um, it wasn't really what he did was wrong. I mean, if you're spending time with somebody, a lot of times you're gonna develop some feelings. Sometimes it's inevitable, sometimes not always. So it was definitely unreasonable what we were asking of each other. Do not fall in love with this person. I can't control who I fall in love with, right?
Mm, but
So
can you? But can you control?
yeah, yes, we were not allowed to. That
Mm,
that was technically our agreement, even though it wasn't like a spoken up agreement. Like, we didn't really speak it up, like, but we just it was like kind of like, all right, you know. Um,
hmm.
so yeah, but no, I totally trust this person with my life.
So have you ever been cheated on? I mean, have you ever cheated on someone?
Absolutely. So same thing.
Oh,
So here's
I'm
the
ready
thing.
for this one.
Grab
I
your
mean, you don't
drink.
have to go too
Grab
deep,
your-
but
I mean, I can get into it.
Rudy said, Rudy said, waiting for the answer of question number
Number
two.
two, get it together. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But no, yes. So I was in a long distance relationship, Haiti and here. So for a lot of people don't know, I've never left my house, my country, the house that I was born in, to go anywhere necessarily, to move. So my very first move was to the US. And at the time, I was in a Romeo and Juliet relationship. Like, we were madly in love, and we were young, that puppy love, right? So all of a sudden, I had to move to the US, and he wasn't coming because, it takes time. We didn't get visa at the same time. So I came here within months of moving here. Now, again, I'm talking about two highly sexual young folks who have nothing to do but to have sex and hang out with their friends. I mean, that was our life. We did, I mean, you did things. It's not like here everybody's working nonstop. Um, at the time, I had a little dance school that I did mainly on the weekend. I was putting shows together mainly, for the weekend stuff, but I wasn't like super busy. And he ended up moving closer to me. We were inseparable. We spent our days together every single day until he went to school, but we did everything together. So then I moved here, and it was really, really hard. Um, I cried for days. I mean, we were both a mess. But eventually I'm like, all right, this body's asking for something. Um, I mean, I was, like I said, we were highly sexual. So I ended up connecting with somebody. I made a friend. And eventually, when I realized, okay, I can trust this person, I made him a proposition. That's why I say I feel like I've always been non-monogamous. Just,
Hmm.
so I made him a proposition. And I said, listen, I got my man in Haiti, but I got needs. So are you okay with just this being transactional? And he was like, sure, but it's not going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. I am
that's
there.
that's
What
how it
time do
happened.
you need me to come over?
Right. So that's truly how it happened. And unfortunately it happened, and eventually I ended up telling him about it later on when things were getting to the point of, oh, we're talking marriage and all that stuff. I'm like, all right, we can't go into this marriage without being honest. So I told him he was totally crushed because, he suspected, but also he thought there was emotional connection there. So I think that was probably the hardest part.
Hmm.
Um, Eventually, it took a while, but he forgave me and we moved on. Yeah, but, again, that's the same person that I'm like, I would trust with my whole life because
Mm.
even though even though I did what I did, he never treated me like, because, especially for guys, right? A woman can forgive like a million times. The one time that a woman makes not, I don't want to call it a mistake, but does something like that, like they're ready to kill her. Till this day, he's never called me a bad name. He's never made me feel like trash for what I did because he understood, even though it was hurtful, but he understood. Was there an emotional connection with him? You mean the person that I slept with? No, there was none. It was just a really good friend. I'm not discounting that person because this person was a very, very good friend, and we are still friends. But that's where we left it. It was just, you know, it was a need that needed to be met, and that's what we did.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so I've been on both
Wow.
sides,
That's pretty
and I've
interesting.
seen, yeah, but I've seen, people cheat for many reasons.
Oh, I wanted to
So
get back to monogamy as a European construct, if you don't mind, real quick.
oh yes, yes.
It is. It is. It was socially imposed first in ancient Greece and Rome.
Okay.
So, energy, high vibrations, monogamy is a European construct. Thank you for that. I always like to at least go back and find some information on it. So,
Yeah.
that whole part. But I mean,
So I
cheaters
want
be
to ask
cheating.
our audience, what
Say it
what
again.
do you feel like? No, I say I want to ask our audience, what do you feel like is the worst, being cheated on or cheating on somebody? Because a lot of times the person who cheats has so much guilt and stuff like that. So for the people who can be honest and open about answering if you have cheated, right? What's the worst position for you to be in, being the cheater or being the cheatee? I don't know if I just made up a word, but
It's okay. We got you. I can answer for me. I have never cheated on anyone. So,
Mhm.
gold star for
Yay!
Sky. I'm too honest. So, it's just easier for me to like just tell the truth and be like, yo, I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
Period. Um, but I have been cheated on, and I thought it was the worst thing because the way I am, I'm always thinking like everyone should be just be open and honest. You know what I
right.
mean? And one of the times was, I guess you could say, my first time. One of my first real boyfriend it's so funny because it relates to like polyamory. I was in high school going to college, he was older. He was a couple years older. And he gave me what for my high school graduation, he gave me an engagement ring. And I was like,
Oh.
"You're going to college, dude.
Was
I
that a
don't know what
promise
this."
ring or engagement ring?
Well, he called it an engagement ring. Whatever it was like, you don't have to go to college, is basically what he said. Or if you do go, you know, I want to lock you down kind of thing. And I didn't really respect it in a sense because I was like, I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be like 15,000 miles away in the States. I was back home in the Virgin Islands. Um, so I think it was my first semester. I mean, we still tried to maintain this long distance relationship. And I was like, God, I just wish we kind of, you know how people like break up because they're going somewhere? Like, I wish we did that just to be like,
Yeah.
let's stay friends and we'll see each other. And he was like, absolutely not. So I remember saying to him, and it's so funny because I forgot this. This is how long ago it was. I forgot until recently we reconnected and he told me, don't you remember when you said you wanted to have an open relationship? And I was like, I said that? He's like, yeah. And I was like, wow, that
See,
is
you were already
shocking to me
monogamous.
because I don't remember that. He's like, yeah, you've always been in that open shit. And I was like, okay. So I when he started talking about it, it brought it back, and I was like, I want to see other people. I'm here in college, and there's all these like hunks walking
Mm.
around, and I have this older boyfriend who is not about college life. He came up to the school. He looked like an old man to everyone because he was just like an island man coming. I was just like, this is not good. He just looked out of place, right? But
Mhm.
anyway, when I told him I wanted an open relationship, essentially what he heard was, I don't want him anymore.
Yeah.
Like he didn't hear the good side of being in an open relationship. He was like, oh, she's about to get busy and, to hell with me and the commitment that I've made to her. And then, so he starts, it's so funny because I don't even start dating other people. He starts dating other people, which is probably what he was doing secretly, right?
Mhm.
As soon as I come home during Christmas break or what have you, because that was during summer. Anyway, I can't, the timeline is like 30 years ago. As soon as I come back home, I start getting hit with, oh, I saw him with such and such, and he was over here, and da 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 da. And so I just asked him, I said, are you seeing somebody? Like, don't you remember we had a conversation? Like, it's okay if you tell me.
Right.
And he was like, oh no, I've been chilling at home, waiting for you to come home. And I was just like,
Right.
okay. So then this girl calls me, and I'm like, one thing I can't stand is that petty woman bullshit. Like,
Right. Like
Miss
Jolene.
pass me all the way straight for real. So she calls me and says that, she wants to know if we're still together because she's with him. That whole
She wants you to know.
right. Well, I'm with
She wants
him.
you
Are
to
you
know.
still with him? Because he told me y'all weren't together anymore. And I was like, oh, well, you could talk to him. He's right here. That kind of stuff.
Look at you,
So it was
gangster.
just right. So it just became this like ghetto bullshit that I just
I
have
can't.
zero. I never had time for it, tolerance, but it was that back and forth. And the whole thing was he's carrying this unethically. Like, just say what the hell. I
Right.
was the one who said, let's have an open relationship. Just say, I'm seeing somebody. It's all good. She knows about you. End of discussion. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, so he like vowed that this girl didn't exist until like I went
She
back to
called you.
school, whatever happened, I came back home, and now he's still seeing this girl, and now she confronts me again. I can't, it was like in a public place, like in the mall or something, and she's pregnant. And so she was like, we got to talk. And I
No, we
guess
don't.
right. So her thing was, he was really enamored by me, like he was swept away, and I guess she was more of a right in the meantime.
Right.
And so he didn't release the love that they had wasn't enough to release me,
Right.
is where she was coming from. And so when the whole pregnancy thing happened, I was like, oh, I'm done. I am not trying to be involved in this triad bullshit. So I was like, yeah, homie, I'm good. I'm going back to school. I'm getting my education. Y'all can have babies here and do whatever the hell y'all want because I'm out officially. His mother called me and said, basically in her island way, basically like cussed me out, saying, this
It
girl
was
wanted you
all-
gone. This girl wanted you gone and you fed into it. You were supposed to stay and ride this out. And I was like,
Hmm.
no, ma'am. No,
We
ma'am.
don't have
No,
to do
ma'am.
that.
Never. If he's having children with people, he needs to go and handle that. I am not,
Exactly.
yeah, I'm good. I'm not holding out. No, he's not that amazing. You can forget it.
Nah.
So he ended up marrying her. They had another kid, and I think he's still married to her to this day. And we had reconnected through his sister on Facebook. And I believe it had been like 25 years had gone by. And then we just started talking about his life and how miserable, how miserable his marriage is, to the fact that he had to go, like it was a sexless marriage, and he had to go to get like happy endings at the Chinese
Uh,
massage parlors or the Asian massage parlors. I was like, sorry, I am not.
yeah.
So,
You didn't even have to do all that.
but I was heartbroken with the whole pregnancy thing because I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to get married, but I didn't think you were going to do this. And I'm just like, when I said open the relationship, I didn't mean like create children, but maybe that should have been a
But
conversation.
you still had reservations, basically.
Yeah, I'm good on that. So Rudy says, question for both of you. What is the
Oh,
most,
hold on. He because we had asked a question before when we
what?
asked which one is the worst, being cheated on or being the cheater. He
Oh,
said
Rudy says
cheated
cheated
on.
on.
I'm
Yes,
sure,
I
especially
agree.
for men, huh?
I
If
agree. I agree. So, question for both of you. What is the most relationships you've had at once? Oh, Rudy, you want dirt. That's what you want.
he wants dirt on us, huh? Right? Rudy, I don't know. Do you want this answer in
Is
private,
that a
maybe?
cheating question? Is that about the topic?
No.
'Cause I think that's way off topic. Rudy, that's way off topic.
For me, I think five relationships was like the most I've been in at one time. And everything had its category, I guess. There were like three romantics and two casuals. Um, but yeah, that's all I'm gonna answer about that, Rudy.
Thank you. You can answer.
Nosy.
I'm moving on to the next question. All right. Been on both sides of that fence, and it's worse depending on the emotional investment or lack of. Been on both sides of that fence, and it's worse depending on the emotional investment. Oh, so
I
KW
get it.
has been cheated on and has also been the cheater.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Crystal says, oh, there's Crystal. Hey, beauty.
Oh, we miss you. Hey, Dee.
Um, Demetrius. Hi,
That's
ladies.
she usually comes say hi and participates. So
Dang, I
you're right.
can't
You
keep up
should
with five
answer.
TV shows at once. KW is being snarky.
Yeah, I mean, TV shows are kind of hard. I mean, five of them would keep you totally distracted, but you got to keep schedule. So we keep a schedule over here, very tight schedule. And if you miss your spot, you're gonna have to wait for the next time again.
You gotta get another appointment. I miss you ladies too. See y'all soon.
Yes, yes. We definitely need to have you back, Crystal, because your information was so amazing. And some changes happened too since we last talked. So I would love for you to come back on the show to have another, educational episode on the folks that are putting their genitals in other people's genitals or receiving them and all that stuff, or different holes, whatever. So we need to keep them on point and educated about their choices. So yes, we would definitely love to have you back.
So I've just posted the link for anyone who wants to call in or come on audio or video.
Yes, we would love for you
Um,
guys to come on. We only have a few minutes left, but we would like to hear your stories. Tell us your story about either if you were cheated on and how that made you feel and all that stuff. Hey, Gee, how are you?
is that Guy?
Yes, that's
Oh,
Haitian. That's Gee in Creole and
oh,
French and
okay.
all that.
Because
That's how we say it.
we
Don't
say
say guys.
guy.
It's Gee.
So, back to the whole cheating. So the alternative to me is being ethical. You don't have to be polyamorous. That's the whole thing.
Yes,
I think
just be
polyamory
honest,
becomes a
right?
lot to navigate for people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think being ethical about how you communicate is really important for just people's well-being. If you care
Right.
about someone, you should just be straight up. I mean, when they say keep it real, just be gentle and graceful about it, but it will alleviate a lot of heartache. I have a friend for years who is a avid diehard cheater. He
Mhm.
is like a master's degree in cheating.
I have
And
a couple of those. We all have
it's
them.
so disgusting to me, but I like to hear the stories
I want to hear
because
stories, people.
his I don't know why he's even married, to be honest, right?
Mhm.
His whole life is a lie. I don't know what his wife knows, but if I was her, he would die. Like the shit he has done, it would be a miserable sight. It would be a murder scene because standing on the outside, listening to his stories about, I mean, he's had all kinds of shit situations for real. I mean, threesomes and everything. Just
Yeah,
think of everything you can think of, and he has been involved in it. And she knows not a thing, and she might suspect it, and I feel like when you're deeply connected to someone, you kind of feel things, what's going on, you know what I mean?
right.
But they've been married for a year. They've been married for 20 something years, and it's just
Mhm.
so disgusting. And I was like, why don't you get a divorce? Why don't you just live your best life and just live like your whole life?
You want to live.
He's like, I can't. He's like, I can't. She's not
They're
going
so
anywhere.
invested, they're so invested. And sometimes too is the guilt, right? So they feel guilty because they've had this person for so many years and they feel like, oh, I can't leave this person now because they're older. We've been married for so long. I mean, there's like so many excuses as to why they can't get a divorce. I mean, it's like I said, I have a handful of those friends who are like that. And I know one of my friends has
So
had a business for as long as
here's the
I've
thing.
known him.
When I was younger, I thought cheating was a hell no. Like that was a deal
Right.
breaker. I've always
Right.
heard that cheating is a deal breaker.
It was never for me.
Well, that's what I've heard. That's what I
Right.
heard. Cheating is a deal breaker. You just don't do it, and that's the end of your relationship. Then one
Hmm.
of my girlfriends said she gave me such a different perspective on it. I was like blown away. She basically said, if any woman thinks that after I've been with my husband for 18, 20 years, we have 4 kids, house, investment, this, that, time spent, heartache, happiness, joy, everything that we have done together. If anyone thinks they can walk up in here and be in my husband's pants for a second, a minute, 5 minutes, one night, and come and take all this shit away from me, she was like, there's no way.
I can't blame her
She's
either.
like, there is no way anyone, he can have, I'll call it, she said, I'll call it a mistake. She said, there is no way in the world. that any woman could come up in her marriage and do anything to break it.
She's not gonna let somebody rip the benefits of her hard work. I
Hell
mean,
no. And when
I
I heard
can't
that,
even,
I was like,
yeah.
wow.
And that's how a lot of people see it. And that's why I feel like so many people stay in abusive relationships too, not just like that part of, the relationship. Like those stay in abusive relationships because they can't fathom, somebody else ripping the benefits of their hard work. So I get
But
that
the
point
thing,
of
the thing
view, but
about women stay in these relationships because of, it could be hypergamy, it could be whatever benefits, whatever. But as soon as a woman is with a man, and her husband finds out or her man finds out, he wants to pass the hell out in the
yeah.
street.
Well, because they can't give you the same grace that you gave them.
It's
Men are not
craziness.
men are not usually people who forgive,
It's crazy.
so
It's
it's like
crazy.
you deserve death. And even like, let's say in the Bible, really, usually when people cheat, who do they blame? The women, right? It's
Mhm.
usually the women that take the blame everywhere, and it's still like that in society. When somebody cheats, like so many times I see videos of, this woman walking up on her husband or her boyfriend at a restaurant with some woman, some girl. Sometimes the girl knows, sometimes, most of the time, the girl doesn't even know you exist, but they walk up. Who do they go straight to? The other woman, not their man. And they're talking trash. They're trying to hit this person. And I'm like, what are you doing with your trash over here? Like, that's the person you should be addressing, not that other person who most likely didn't even know you existed because they made up a lie that you were not in their lives. So don't blame this other person. Again, this song Jolene with Dolly Parton. I haven't heard the new version yet, but everybody's talking on Facebook about it. And I'm like, first of all, you won't find me singing that song because I ain't crying over a man. Like, Jolene, please don't take my man from me. Bitch, no, I'm not doing that. You can have him. You can have him. I'm not doing that. I'm not begging you not to take him because obviously he wants to go with you. Take him, you
That
know?
part.
So
Crystal
it's always,
says she's going to try to bring Travis Walker with me so we can educate everyone.
yes, yes, we would love that. Um,
Guy or Guy,
Gee,
have you
don't
ladies
feel bad.
ever had a one night stand while into your poly relationship? Off topic, but okay. Have you
What
ladies
is that?
ever
Have
had a
you?
one night stand while in
Wow.
while in a poly relationship?
I mean, it depends on your dynamic, what you desire. Yeah, it, being polyamorous does not stop me from having a one night stand if that's what I want. Absolutely, I can have whatever I want. You could have whatever you like.
That part. I want to know which direction Guy is going in with this line of questioning.
Yes, Guy, tell us.
Well, what is your, why don't you call in, Guy? You seem like you're curious.
Give us a call. The link
The
is in the
investment of
chat.
time keeps a lot of people in relationships that should have ended 1,000 years in. That's what I'm going to add, D.
Yes, absolutely, D. Yeah, you got it.
I'm
Yeah.
all for people getting divorced. Like, stop
Yeah.
staying in these miserable ass, bullshitty ass relationships. Get
Don't
out
be
of it.
miserable just in the name of keeping a title. It's kind
Oh
of
my
like they give you the
gosh.
title at the job without the compensation. It's
It's
like,
so dumb.
nah,
I hate
I don't
it.
want to be called a manager and still get paid like the regular person. No.
Mm.
So,
That's only one question. You only had one question, Guy? I know you have more.
well, you should still jump on and tell us about your experience. Have you ever
He,
cheated on somebody or have you been cheated on? How did both of them make you feel? But I have to tell you though, I remember the first time that I did that. I was like, I could not believe I had so many feelings going through my mind as a cheater. It was like, it was crazy. You're crying and you're like, I willingly did this, but here I am feeling so guilty about this thing that I did. But some people, they can just keep it moving. Um, but yes, we'd like to hear your stories. We're being honest tonight. Is we had the truth serum.
That
So tell us your experience and what you think. And we're not encouraging it. This is just, we live and learn. Um, we've had different lives. I've lived 9 lives already, at least. So I'm like a cat. I've had it all.
hey,
Had it all. I'm
what
so
made you cheat?
good.
Dean said,
Necessity.
what made you cheat? Didn't you say
Necessity.
that already?
Huh? Yes. It was a
You
long
answered
distance
that already.
relationship. Yeah, it was a long distance relationship. He was in Haiti. I was here. I was young and horny. I wanted sex. That's pretty much it. I don't have any other explanation. That's all it was.
Dirt. Always some dirt.
Yes. So you guys got some on me. Nah, it's on the internet. Nobody cares.
Exactly.
I don't care. So
I just want people to just like have joy in their life. You know what I'm saying? And like do what makes them happy. Like that's to me the ultimate of living. And I don't necessarily think that it looks the way society says it's supposed to look. I just think that um I mean it becomes political, right? Like the whole, one man, one woman marriage. I mean it gets boring to me. It's a boring story now. It's a
recently
boring
somebody
story because
asked
I mean like life could just be so spice-tacular if people like create,
I like that word.
yeah, like if people like create like these amazing family situations, or there's a family that I follow on Instagram. I actually met them. They live here in Atlanta. It's a wife and two husbands and 8 children.
Ooh.
And I am like, if that is not the most beautiful looking family I have seen, I am so enamored by that because it's like whatever works for y'all. You know what I mean? Whatever you envision, make that work. I have a friend who wants another wife, and he wants to get some land. I mean, he talks about this all the time. He wants to get some land and build some houses and have like a whole village type vibe going on. I mean, whatever, however it looks, like I just don't think it's supposed to be this thing. And then, of course, statistics show marriage fails like 60% of the time, more or less. Number one. Number two, the nuclear family has failed our society because you
Mhm.
have now in this society with the economy, you have two parents working, children are by themselves. The actual extended family is what family should really be, is together. As soon
Yeah,
as you're
the
18 or
community.
19 and you still live in your home, they want to kick you to the curb and say, go and be somebody. But it's really hard to navigate out here. So the
Mhm.
extended family is the true family that works and supports the young people and the elderly. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
nursing homes. Oh, this is way off topic, but I actually was having this conversation with my son today. Speaking of elderly, um, and a friend of mine told me this. So, and I know this is like, how does this relate to anything? It relates because it's about family, right? So, a lot of times people are working and they really can't manage their elders because they're working and they don't have anyone. So, my son's grandmother she just had a stroke. And so now it's the family to navigate her care, right? Because she's not she was in a nursing home rehabilitation, but now she's back home. So that now it's navigating care. So for a lot of like the elders, a lot of families either have to put their families in like some stranger's nursing home,
Mhm.
or figure out how to afford home care. right? So what families are doing is they're either getting another house or get taking their own house and licensing it as a nursing home. And
Oh.
now they can get the insurance to pay someone in the family to be the home health care aide.
Okay. Actually, you don't even really have to license your home as such, because as a family member, if you are taking care of that person, they can actually pay you. I don't know how great the pay is, because I remember, because at one point my dad lived with us, and you there's a I was not interested in all that loophole. Like, you have to jump through hoops to get that stuff done, but it's possible to where they pay a family member, because a lot of times you can't find caregivers. So you can pay a family member. If you're already taking care of them, they can pay you a certain amount. So basically you get compensated for helping
Mm-hmm.
out with them. Because again, it's really hard finding caregivers for the elderly or special need people. So,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Um, Guy says, oh, as a
sorry.
young man, I did because it's kind of the norm. Unfortunately, being dishonest and hypocritical is the way most men live their life. Mm.
Yeah,
Crystal,
it's true.
CDPAS is what it's called.
Okay. Thank you, Crystal.
Certain
So,
agencies will pay more than others.
okay.
We got to look into that.
Yes.
Um, and Crystal,
And
Guillaume, Christy
Guillaume, yeah.
Guillaume. Yes, I have cheated on someone and have been cheated on as well. And I can say in the first case, somehow I felt okay about it, except that I didn't like the extra work that it entailed. I was young and unstoppable. In the other situation, I was shocked at first and quickly saw it as an opportunity to leave him. I thought it was gross that he had time to cheat when I was not even being fulfilled in that relationship.
Whew, I hear you 100%. A lot of times, right? It's the people who can't even finish what they have at home, take care of what they have at home, that are stepping out on their partners.
And that
Um,
and that's the thing, like I see I read about it in these poly groups about people who are in these, I call them polyfuckery because they're not really poly, they're opportunists who want to have their cake and eat it too, but they don't really know
right,
how to do it. They don't know how to navigate having
right,
multiple partners. So they'll have their one partner, right? And then they'll be like, oh, I have other partners or I'm seeing other people, and they're gone. And then they claim they either have someone they live with or they are dating. And these girls, I'll say girls because that's who I see mostly. Yeah, I have this partner and he doesn't even call me and he doesn't see me and I don't spend time with him and he has this other girlfriend. And you're not in a relationship, honey. Let me just tell you what you are in. You're in what's called polyfuckery because maybe he could claim you when he wants to. But if you are not checking in with your partner and making sure your partner is okay,
right.
are you really in a relationship? Are you really what are you really doing?
So, I mean, for me, like, to even call you partner, and this is something I talk about when I decide I'm gonna get into something with somebody. As far as relationship goes, I always tell him the daily check-in kind of person. We don't have to have like extended conversations every day, right? Just send me a text, let me know you're alive, I'll let you know I'm alive, that kind of stuff. But I like, literally, how close we get is gonna
Is based on the
depend
communication.
on our communication.
Same.
What kind of topics we talk about, how often we talk. I need that in order for me to be close to you, to connect with you. If I send you a text and 2 days later, that's when you like getting back at me, guess what? You will be treated as such, and you're gonna be out of sight, out of mind for me as well. So that's just, and it's not necessarily because I'm trying to take revenge. It's just like that's how my mind operates. You're in my face, you're gonna stay in my face. But if you're not there, it's easy for me to just like find something else to do because I have plenty of ways to occupy my time, myself, and all that stuff. So if
Mhm.
you want to
Agreed.
be one of the closest people, we just got to keep in touch. So I lose interest quickly. Maybe I'm just ADD, whatever it may be. I'm just letting you know from the get go, you you gotta stay on me in order for me to stay on you. That's
Yeah.
all.
I like how you did that. Squirrel. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think cheating can go away once people let go of monogamy.
Now, okay, so I hear this
Campaign to
question a
let
lot.
go of monogamy and like let's just be great.
I hear
So,
this question a lot in monogamy, right? So let's say we're married, we're saying that we're monogamous, we're supposed to be with one another exclusively. Now, you hear it all the time, and a lot of times I feel like that's the justification that men give. I say men because most of the time that's who I hear it from. Oh, she doesn't sleep with me anymore. Or every time I ask for sex, she says no. She's always tired. She's this, she's that. There's always these excuses as to why she doesn't want to have sex with her husband. So, do you feel like this husband or wife, whatever, is justified if they step out of their relationship if their needs are not being met or fulfilled? Now, I'm not talking about the person who wants sex 3 times a day, 7 days a week,
mhm.
24/7. I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about that person who could probably have it every day, but they'll settle for twice a week, once a week, whatever you can work out. Like they'll settle for something less than what they desire. Like, do you feel like this person is justified when the wife is like, or the husband, whatever, both ways, it's like you only getting sex once a month or once every 2 weeks? Do you feel like that person, and when they first started being together they were all the time going at it, do you feel like this person is justified in stepping out?
I absolutely think they are justified because if you are claiming to be in a monogamous relationship, you are now signing up for obligatory sexual relationships. Cause this is the only motherfucker you have to have sex with, then the both of you better figure out y'all schedule. Period. And if you don't meet the schedule, then you are violating the fucking agreement. Like that's how I see it.
Right.
That's what, and I have a lot of guy friends, and this is what they tell me all the
Mm-hmm.
this is what they say all the time. And unfortunately, if you sign up for a monogamous relationship, you
Mm-hmm.
sign up for obligatory sex. You should be given it when you don't want it. That's just what it is. See, on the other side of that sunny day, polyamory, once again, you don't have to be obligated to anything.
The Poly Pimp is here in the house.
You don't have to be obligated to anything. You can do it whenever you want with whomever you want because it's not an obligation.
So
You
this
are,
is this is when I say, okay, that person is justified, like you say,
they are
because,
justified. Yeah.
right, you can't tell me that I should only be with you, or I tell you you should only be with me, but I'm not here for you for in your time of needs,
That's why,
right?
and that's why it's unrealistic. That's why.
Yes. So that's why it's also amazing when you can open up your relationship and be like, okay, when the husband says, honey, I know I just had sex with you last night, but I want it again tonight and tomorrow and the day after and everything. And when you're like, I'm tired, my body's tired, I can't take anymore, why don't you go see Sky over there? She'll take care of you, right? You should be able to say that. And at least that pressure is not on you. And I know we're just talking about the sexual part because we're talking about cheating, right? So that pressure is not on you anymore. But you can't tell me I don't feel like having sex and you should not have sex either. That
Right.
is so
That's
unrealistic. So,
that's
and
slavery. That's
that's
slavery.
exactly. So that's when I'll always justify the person who cheats. I'm like, you don't even have to give an excuse
And
because
if a woman,
they
and
did not give
especially a
you what
woman,
they said they would. So,
Especially a woman, if a woman denies her partner sex regularly, like once in a while, you can be like, I'm not. But
yeah.
if it's a regular thing and he goes and steps out,
Some people use
that's
it
the
as a
business.
weapon too.
That's
They
the
use it as a
business.
weapon.
Honestly, I
Like,
ain't even mad at. If a friend
right.
told me that, oh well, he should honor our relationship.
Well,
I
you
just
should
shouldn't.
honor your relationship by opening
Exactly,
your legs too.
exactly, exactly. You should, and that's what monogamy creates. So
Exactly.
most men can be with another woman just for sex, but most women will be with another man because of connection and the desire to be with that other man, and that's where the difference lays. I think that's fake
Not
news.
always, but yeah.
That's fake news to me. That's just what is told. That's just like that. Gee, I hear what you're saying, but I just think that is a story that they keep telling, that women just can't do sex
Right.
without emotion,
Without connection. I
and men can do it without emotion. That's fake news too. Um, and I also think, what did I hear some recent that sounded like that? That when a man ejaculates, his DNA is left in her womb, and all the men that ejaculate in her leave all
uh,
the DNA, and scientifically some bullshit about.
listen, we can flush it out. Let's flush it out, okay?
I was like, make up any scientific bullshit you can to make this sound not workable, and
Right.
you know what I mean? Make it up and make it work for your story, because that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Crystal said agreed. I'm not sure what she's agreeing to, but it's something we said or
We're
Guy
like
said.
so behind. And then she
I
said,
have zero emotional connections to men.
hey, some people don't. I mean, I listen, I've had like again, like you were saying, they always think women are not capable of certain things, like hit it and quit, quit it, right? I'm like, yeah, we do that all the time too. We don't need to be in love with you to just sit on it. Like, we don't need all that. Sometimes it's just a need that we need to satisfy for the moment, for the time being. Like, why do they think for women to sleep with men or other people in general, they need to be in love? Absolutely not. I've been everywhere. Like, I've done it all. It's like, no, I can just look at you. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go at it. You look really good and yummy right now. Let's go at it. And then let's keep it moving. See you later. Don't call me. you know? I mean, we
Gangster.
don't have to be in love.
Well, I mean, I just think that people need to just be more honest with what they really want. And I think, I appreciate these guys that say exactly what time it is.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, because I know a lot of there are so many relationship experts out there, but some women want this, some women want that. But I'm like, I appreciate a guy who is 100% straight with me. This is what I want, this is what I need. Can we do it? And if it doesn't work for me, I can tell you, yeah, that's not gonna work for me. Let's keep it moving. And if I have any interest, I'll be like, all right, I can roll with this, and we just both have fun and live life. I don't know when my last day will be. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it out the room. So yeah, I intend on enjoying my life before I go. I may live to be
Do you
100, which
think
will give me a lot of fun and pleasure, but I don't know if I'm not gonna die tomorrow. So
do you think that that's being selfish?
selfish how?
That's what I heard. I heard a friend of mine posted this today on Facebook, that men sacrifice everything for their family and women sacrifice their family for themselves.
Hmm.
So it
I
made me
wonder
think,
what gets them there sometimes though. Like what family? Because people be in relationships thinking like, oh yeah, we have a great family. And then you realize, oh, I'm glad you felt like you had a great family because I didn't feel the same way. So we
Mhm,
weren't in the same relationship. We were in it, but we were not in it together. You had a whole
mhm,
different, I provided that security for you. I provided that great family for you, but you did not do the same for me. So maybe I could just walk out. Peace out, sir.
Mm,
I mean, a lot of
very
times people don't
interesting.
realize, that
Very
they did
interesting.
that. Yeah.
Well, I
So,
think we are at
oh
the
my God. It's
I think we're
10:20.
at
I
the
did not
time when
even
it
realize. But yeah, so I mean, I think tonight was great. Crystal, I'm gonna reach out. Maybe our next episode will be with her um on sexual health, people. If you're having sex, you need the information. Don't act
Oh yeah,
like
I
you
have
don't
I definitely have questions for Crystal.
need it.
So,
So we're gonna have to come back to this. Yeah, I think every once in a while we should definitely do a sexual health segment. Just because people are out there not being safe, and that's how you see so many videos and series on how he gave me this, how she gave me that, and all that. Because we're not taking accountability and responsibility for our own health and putting it on somebody else. And then when something happens, we're trying to find somebody to blame when truly who you should be blaming is yourself. So
mhm.
that'll be for another episode with Crystal. Crystal, we're already putting you in so you can't back out. So yes. So like we said before, the 19th will be the Juicy Bash. So remember when we sent out the link to RSVP, because we're only taking a very small crowd because we want to keep it very intimate. We were so happy and satisfied with the last crowd that we had. We want to keep it that way for now. For now. Maybe one day we'll make it a big explosion, but right now we want to keep it like smooth and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure once again, and we hope to see you on the next episode of the Poly Pimps.
Which will be on the 16th
Is that
of
oh, that's the same week
April.
I'm saying.
Yes, it'll be the same week of our Juicy Bash. So if you guys have not followed us or liked us or subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. Remember to share our videos with all your friends, your family who need to hear the information that we're sharing. Um, Yes. So please keep in touch with us so you know everything that's happening. And like we said, the 19th of April will be our next Juicy Bash. You don't want to miss that.
Have a wonderful evening, y'all.
Good
Peace.
night.